Inquirer newspaper read. Still in the plastic. Now, I'm a little bit late today because, as I mentioned before, one of my previous reads went out to eat last night. Took a step into the pre-COVID world, like a blast from the past. Although it was totally, the scene was totally catered to current COVID world with plastic wrapped utensils and cups that you take out of the plastic and use outside, heat lamps, fire pit, distanced tables, masked up servers and others. I don't know how I felt about it, but it was good to get out. It was good to get out of the house, enjoy some social time, the in-laws, and see some folks, trying to have some semblance of a weekend. So I had a couple beverages, and the kids slept over at the in-laws' house, so I slept in a little bit. Hence the late start. And it's a Sunday. Right? So should be a lazier kind of read on a Sunday, one would think. So I hope that my 11 a.m. start isn't complicating too much. Isn't complicating your schedule too much. Whoa. Especially when it comes to the Sunday paper. I mean, this is going to be a little bit longer of a read. Simply because it's got your typical Sunday spread of sections. Just can't get at it like you used to, Just can't get at it like you used to. Separating sections today. The upside. I'm going to try to hit the road today for another bike ride. It's a nice day out here in the Philadelphia region. Dropped the section by accident. Live life Louvre. Ooh, there's a section I dropped. Sections. Another live life love. Double live life loves today. Currents, just kind of like the Inquirer's version of the Sunday review section in the Times. Yep. Real estate. You know how we do with real estate. For my avid followers out there. This goes straight to the recycling pile. Health. Sunday business. And then the circular type stuff, the ads, the coupons, comics. Look, they want to make you keep drinking. Drink yourself through the pandemic, everyone. Special deals at Total Wine. I'm trying not to. I'm trying to cut back. So, last night was an exception to the rule for my Sunday, or for my dry January efforts. Still, if I just had a couple drinks once or twice this month, successful. There's still 2 weeks left in the month for the remainder of a dry January. What do we start with here? Want to start with the Sunday business? Sure. The legacy of debt. Debt has risen almost $7.8 trillion since President Trump took office. Fake news! One of President Trump's lesser-known but profoundly damaging legacies will be the explosive rise in the national debt that occurred on his watch. The financial burden that he is leaving on our government will saddle our kids and grandkids with debt for decades. Anybody talking about this? Is this okay with everybody? President Barack Obama signs into law a $787 billion stimulus bill to fight the 2008 recession back in 2009. Candidate Donald Trump says he'll pay down the national debt over 8 years in 2016. Trump signs into law the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act right off when he starts office. World Health Organization declares the coronavirus a pandemic, and then it jumps up from then to $28 trillion. I mean, you can't all put it at his feet, I guess, when there's a pandemic that needs some stimulus help, but it was going up before pandemic time. National debt has risen by almost $7.8 trillion during Trump's time in office. That's nearly twice as much as what Americans owe on student loans, car loans, credit cards, and every other type of debt other than mortgages combined, according to data from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. It amounts to about $23,500 in new federal debt for every person in the country. You're worth $23,500 in debt. So am I. It's the great equalizer, debt. Alright, the car they're looking at today is the Lexus IS300. It packs a lot of fun, and it just feels right, according to Scott Sturgis of the driver's seat. Something about the Lexus just felt almost perfect right from the start. The cabin, the steering, the handling, the engine performance, it definitely runs circles around the TLX or the S60, which are not bad vehicles at all. Comparing it to my Volvo S60 and saying it runs circles around my Volvo. Well, I don't agree, even though I've never driven it in my life. I'm not a big Lexus guy, so I'm going to stick with my predilection for the Volvo. Business. Dunzo. Health. CDC links colleges to outbreaks. Oh boy. The things that happen on campus affect not only people on the campus, but also people who live and work around the campus. Oh, really? Lawrence Steinberg, Temple University psychology professor? Some profound stuff. As more Pennsylvania colleges prepare to bring students back to campus for spring semester, a new study by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention found that doing so in the fall significantly affected the number of COVID-19 cases in the community. The study found that counties with colleges enrolling more than 20,000 students that opted for in-person instruction for the fall 2020 semester experienced a 36% increase in the average number of COVID-19 cases per 100,000 people, while counties with large colleges that chose remote-only instruction saw a 17.9% decrease. But the study authors said they could not say whether the spike in cases in surrounding communities were caused by cases on campus. Quote, whether cases in university counties were college or university related, i.e. through contact in classrooms, dormitories, cafeterias, or off-campus activities, or related to community transmission could not be discerned. It's an important thing to clarify. Maggie Haberman on CNN. NYT reporter. She gets a lot of airtime on CNN. Business or health. Done. Did I say health? I might have said business. I don't know. No, I think I said health. Whatever. First, Live Life Love. Back page of Cars. Front page of Masked People. A fresh look for two big chains. Paulsen Market and Corner Bakery are being rebranded. Thanks to a new owner. Although 2020 was a challenging year for the many restaurateurs who struggled to keep the lights on amid the pandemic, Jignesh J. Padilla of Newtown expanded his business dramatically, buying two well-known but struggling privately held national restaurant chains. In April, he acquired Paulsen Market, the rotisserie chicken specialist, adding 41 locations in 2020 for a total of 324. In October, he took over the 157-unit Corner Bakery, which offers pastries, breads, breakfast dishes, and sandwiches. Terms were not disclosed. He's now overseeing a rebranding and redecoration of the company stores. He said he is also considering a relocation of the main offices to Bucks County, Corner Bakery from Dallas, and Paulsen Market from Boulder, Colorado, and started hiring more staff, anticipating the business will improve in the second quarter of 2021. Look at you, man. He said he plans to open 90 to 100 more Paulsen Markets and 120 new Corner Bakery locations in the next year, effectively doubling its size. He's going all in. So the reporter asked him a question. You've had some hits. What didn't work for you? And he says, I was the original person who brought Quiznos into Philadelphia. The brand did not have support, did not have strength. I think I opened 5 and sold 2 or 3, something like that. It was a setback. And eventually, little by little, Quiznos just pretty much disappeared. I think another setback was when we closed Pizza Huts. We've been struggling with that brand. I gotta take a step away real fast. Just hang out. I'm gonna just hang out, enjoy the glare. And I'll see you in a moment. Try this. Sorry about that. Judy called, so, I help out some things downstairs, but now I'm back. So, yeah. Let's resume. Let's resume our read together, if you don't mind. We were talking about this guy who bought a bunch of Boston Market and corner bakeries. Good for him, right? Okay. Keep an eye out for more. Keep an eye out for more chicken and more breakfast fare coming to a neighborhood near you. Next Live Life Love batch. Okay. Leslie Odom Jr. nails it as Sam Cooke in One Night Miami. I felt a connection to him, the Hamilton star said. Philadelphia author talks about her haunting slavery novel. This is Sadika Johnson. She's the author of Yellow Wife. These people got married. They look like happy-go-lucky folks. A little eccentric, but nothing wrong with that. Rita Lynn Lyman and Justin Scott. Congratulations. The little book review section here in the Inquirer. They're looking at, in the nonfiction, A Swim in a Pond in the Rain by George Saunders. Unsolaced by Gretel Ehrlich. And Gary Paulsen's Gone to the Woods. Gary Paulsen, that's a blast from the past, man. I remember reading way back, 7th grade, 8th grade. This is the same Gary Paulsen, which I'm assuming it's gotta be. The Hatchet is the book. For your teenage or just preteen children, it may be a favorite. It may be a fan favorite for that group. At least for me, it was. It's about a 13-year-old, 14-year-old boy who ends up being stranded on an island by himself with just a hatchet to survive. He gets in a plane crash, and it's just him, tackling the island's challenges. And it's a really good kind of. It helps with the imagination, I think, for a child of that age. Kind of makes you think, like, I could do this. I got this resiliency. I want to be left alone on an island with a hatchet. It was one of my favorite books back in my youth. 7th grade, let's say. Or earlier, maybe. 6th grade. So as a kid, author Gary Paulsen felt safe in only two places, the woods and the library. His parents had a disease called alcoholism. Drinking too much alcohol caused them to ignore him or yell at him. Paulsen often slipped away to camp outdoors in mild weather or warm up in the library on winter evenings in northwestern Minnesota. Interestingly, the picture that they choose is of Gary and his son in front of a helicopter. A plane. And that's kind of the story of Hatchet. A son and his father go on a plane ride. And only one of them makes it. So Paulsen writes about those experiences in his gritty new memoir, Gone to the Woods, Surviving a Lost Childhood. The memoir explores what he calls 5 pivotal points in his early life when things were about to change, for good or bad. He said in a phone interview from his home in rural New Mexico. Paulsen refers to himself as the boy rather than I in the book, and he recalls many tense and dangerous moments. Readers will find themselves turning the pages quickly to see what happens next and whether the boy survives, perhaps forgetting that this is the life story of a popular author, now 81 years old. It's clear, too, that Paulsen has drawn on his own experience for his many books. His best-known novel, Hatchet, is about a boy named Brian, the only survivor of a small plane crash. Just as Paulsen did in his younger years, Brian has to figure out how to find food and shelter in the harsh, though beautiful wilderness. The book won a Newbery honor. Paulsen went on to write 4 more suspense novels about Brian. Alright, I might check that out. I like Gary Paulsen, as I just said. He was a big influence, I guess, in a way, that book as a child. Paulsen especially remembers the public library, with its golden light, and the kind librarian who first shared books with him when he was 13 years old. Paulsen was a poor reader and often skipped school, he said, but he learned to love reading at the library. The librarian's gift of a little notebook and a sharpened pencil began his writer's journey. And the writing adventure continues. Paulsen has already dived eagerly into his next novel, a comedy. It's about a boy who uses a free puppy training brochure to try to train his free-spirited, sometimes problematic dad. Said Paulsen with a chuckle. Working on it, sometimes I laugh out loud. Oh, a special question from Carolyn. We got a Carolyn Hacks question here, everyone. Sunday edition. Oh, can you give me like another 15 minutes?
I have to get the girls.
Here's. We're literally I'm literally live. I got all my fans who are trying to read this. Okay, I got a couple more sections. And then we're going to be done.
But I know that I have to leave here at 12, have to get girls.
Oh, here's the region, too. The region. We didn't get that to eat. We didn't get to that either. What do you need from me? Can you give me like 10 minutes?
No, I have to leave to get the girls. My parents have stuff they want to do.
It looks like we're going to have to do it looks like I'm being bullied. I'm being bullied around by my wife to let her get on the treadmill, which happens to be right here. As you can see, this is the tread. So I'm gonna let her do that because that's the kind of husband I am, and I'm gonna resume this a little bit later, I guess. The Sunday read, when you get started a little bit later in the day, sometimes you gotta make lemonade. So all right, maybe we'll try to swing back later. We'll resume with where were we? We're gonna start with Carolyn. Stay tuned for Carolyn Hacks' advice column when we return.